for me is over basically now. This weekend was the President's Cup for judo, and I had my little powerlifting thing, so I'm basically free for like the next 3 or 4 months for that.
Did you fight Joe Biden?
I did not. What a weird comment. Though I wish, if we started settling this, that's a good point. But if we ended up with politics with people allowed to hit each other on the debate stage, I think it would be pretty fun.
Have you ever seen those videos from I think it's like Taiwan or somewhere like that, and it just their parliament just ends up in having a mass brawl?
Yeah,
I feel like that's the best way to settle most of that stuff.
That was Japan too.
Japan, okay.
That was Japan, yeah. Those guys were doing judo.
Like fight and shit.
Yeah, like so you see them
guys were doing judo against each other in the Japanese parliament because like every guy does it over there. Yeah, it was pretty sick. Those videos are always fun. Cool. So Chase, you think earlier the better for this?
Yes.
Earlier the better. And then for everybody for reference, hello, welcome to the Strength Club Weekly Podcast. We're trying to figure out when to go to Australia for an SS camp. We're opening up the camps again.
That's starting strength, not
the camps again.
SS.
For the SS.
Yeah, Australia probably, they're already opening them up.
Okay.
We're already full, to be honest.
Yeah, so March would probably be better for me, I think, as well. Yeah, I think frankly the earlier the better. Just get it out of the way. But so here's what you're looking for with the camps: a place that has somewhere where enough people can sit, right? So you need like a kind of a space to do a lecture. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be like a specific separate conference room, but you need kind of like a whiteboard space or a place that you can put up a PowerPoint. A good enough space for how many people are you thinking going to this? Like 15, 20 people? Or are you thinking 20, like 10, 15?
20, maybe. I reckon about 20.
And I
don't think they're going to let us do 20. That's a lot. That's a seminar.
That's a seminar.
That's a seminar. I'd probably say more towards 15.
Fuck, even then, that's a lot of people.
Well, how many?
12 or so. And then do multiple camps, and still we got to figure that shit out too.
It might be a conversation for better after the live stream.
Well, fuck it, we're already here.
Well, let's
do it after the
stream. Comments. I mean, if people in the comments have a better idea too, I like to hear their feedback.
Yeah, anybody going to Australia? If you live in the United States, you should fly to Australia for our camp.
Exactly.
That's the most cost-effective way to do it.
A VIP package, if you pay $5,000, you get to stay with Chase in his hotel room.
Yeah, we'll just fucking nerd out on Olympic videos and
just men sharing powerful moments with each other.
Exactly.
Is anyone actually watching this thing? I can't tell.
No, probably not.
Yeah, there's people on YouTube watching it. I can see it on my end. It's popping between 6 and 8
like
people.
What, 5 people?
That's pretty typical in the beginning. The first few minutes are always 6 or 8 people. How's it going, Ben? Ben, are you gonna fly to Australia for us for the camps? We should get a shirt though with like SS camps, and then we put lightning bolts on the side.
Here,
that would be pretty sick. Yeah,
just
SS camps,
and on the back
it says,
that we're trying to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
And just stomp it with
take a train to
Brisbane.
Yeah. Just the map of the train system in Australia. How's it going, Johnny G? I think we have some videos from Johnny G too. We have a good amount of user videos to go through. I think I said Mick 12 or 13. But yeah, so basically we're looking for some place because like how does the camp structure work, Chase? So you go by your memory and I'll say what I remember, and then we'll go from there.
From the camps that I've ran, I've done like a 2-lift camp. It's probably the most I've ever done. I haven't done a 3-lift camp, which that would be literally all day. But the 2 lifts rather is I've done a squat and a deadlift, and that takes a good majority of the time. Yep. Probably about like 6 hours, 5 hours, somewhere around there. And we're going into just the lecture of here's the breakdown of the squat, all the moment arms, the model, the analysis there, and then we.
Is it the same amount of lecture as the seminar, or it's a compressed lecture from the seminar, right?
I did it more compressed because I haven't given the squat lecture, so I didn't have like any videos or anything like that. You know, we show people at the seminar, but again, it's the physical, the moment arms, the physics behind it a little bit, talking about the 3 criteria, all that stuff of why we're squatting the way we do, and then adding in the musculature a little bit, talking about the anatomy, some physiology, and then going from there, we are lifting, and then we kind of just go through the long version of the teaching progression, short way, and then we teach people like that. Yeah,
it's like it's just an intimate seminar, basically.
Yeah,
intimate seminar. Yeah, how's it going, Edvin Vito? The real estate agent who got me this condo, his name is Edwin as well. I do judo with him all the time. So maybe that could be you, Edwin. But yeah, so
do you get a better rate on your rent if you go easy on him?
Oh wait, a cool dude? What did a cool dude say? I think I frankly have no idea if I got a good real estate agent or a bad real estate agent, because this is the first time I bought a property. I was happy with it. Who the fuck knows? A gallon of cheesecake a day, since cheesecake is much more anabolic.
Is that what I think that's what the Lean Gains guy does. He eats massive cheesecakes. That's his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I have no idea. I did this out of desperation when my jaw wasn't working. Because it was just the softest. It was the only It was the softest, most calorie-dense food I could find. He's in Canada. Listen, Edwin, you got to fly to Australia for the opening of the camps. We're going to meet up at the train station, have a train ride to the camp. It's going to be great. Yeah.
It's a little splash of the pond, man. Just kind of get over.
You'll be able to take your mask off for the first time in 3 years, Edwin.
That's true. Too late to send in videos of my press. Yeah, email it to support@strength.club. Mr. Guy, Mr. Relative.
We've got a bunch of videos today. I think we're probably going to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Support@strength.club.
Yeah, we'll start busting these videos out while we continue to talk about the
bust.
Yeah, man. So every morning I wake up so glad that I can bust.
So for the lifts, are you thinking about just doing all the lifts? Like, of course, we're going to do a squat. Of course, we're going to do a deadlift.
Well, I was thinking if you hold it over 2 days, first day squat, deadlift, second day press bench.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, I don't know. What do you guys think about and power clean as well? I don't know.
Good.
Frankly, I would try to get all of us on a call with Pete at some point, and then literally say, what is the upper threshold of things we can do without just calling it a seminar?
Yeah.
You know,
all right.
I think a lot of people are going to want more power clean coaching than bench coaching, frankly. You know, so like
I would agree.
If you did squat, deadlift, and then the next day press, power clean, that would probably be better, I think.
Is that because most people have their bench kind of sorted and there's not really...
It's the fucking bench press, dog.
Yeah, it's really not
that complicated, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. We should get Pete on this, actually, for an episode.
Pete.
He'd be good value, I reckon.
Yeah. Pete was a good guy. It was when I visited him at SSC Orlando.
I love
he's dead now.
Pete's a hell of a
dude. This is a home gym. He's taped down. He's going pretty hard here. He has some what is this? XEBEX? Is that X boxes?
Is that dumbbells up there? What is that at the very top above those?
This?
No.
This is a Muhammad Ali poster.
Yeah. I'm talking about so you see the bench against the wall. Next to it, that's like a power cord.
Oh, that's shoe racks.
That's shoe racks. Okay, I can't.
That's a shoe rack. Yeah, he has a football bar. He has a Swiss bar, a safety bar, and a trap bar.
Yeah. See,
so BC Hendricks he's all barred out.
He's got a little basketball ring as well.
He does. He has a basketball hoop for a child. Okay, yeah. So for this one, we got to widen the stance. We got to point the toes out, shove the knees out, tell him to stop squatting into his knees. After those changes, what would you do, Chase?
Hey, he's just kind of treating it like a high bar. So leaning over more. So once we freed up more room in between the legs, his torso is going to be able to kind of cover that area that he's now created. And then just kind of focus more about making your tailbone go back instead of letting your knees slip forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, try to divide those two things mentally. Like think about where things are in space. Push your tailbone backwards. Don't let your knees go forward. That's wonderful. Yeah, and he has the mirror here too. Like I hate when people put mirrors up in their home gym because it was such an effort to put it up, you know. And then it's like, listen, I don't want you to use that. And they're like, fuck, I spent so much time putting it up. It's an expensive.
They're expensive too.
Yeah. That's all we had for BC Hendricks. This one was a pretty short and simple one. He's doing kind of the high bar, your low bar strategy. Okay, all right, we'll move on to the next video because we got a good bit to get through. We have some from Johnny G here. So we have John. I think his wife Kathy. Kathy is lifting too.
Kathy G.
Nice.
Kathy G. Kathy the gangster. Let's go back here. All right, so it seems like we have 275 on the bar here for John. For Sor Gloria.
What the hell? He has these
dumbbells here.
Plus this is just to elevate his heels.
Wood.
It's to elevate his heels, man.
On the dumbbells to stop the wood moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a single. All right, we got a single at 275 here.
Does he not have lifters?
No, he's wearing lifters, I think.
Why the
I
fuck?
don't think they are. I
can't tell. They're too black. They're just all black. Yeah, I could have sworn John had lifters before, but maybe he's doing this. I mean, that was at depth.
Yeah.
It was a little bit chesty to finish.
I don't know, like, I would just invest in a better pair of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I gave up.
He said he gave up the wood. Never give up the wood, John.
I mean, Johnny, like this.
Not at your age, John. You can't afford it.
This is like the right idea about going about things, but like, look, you're gonna end up like tripping, and you don't want to trip whenever you have 275 on your back, or you're gonna fuck up the setup. Just take away all the external factors that you can to make the squat harder than it needs to be. Okay, so he's getting shoes tomorrow. Perfect.
Shoes tomorrow. Okay. So this is the lowest frame here. So Chase he's at depth, right?
Yeah, I'd call that depth.
Yeah. So again, everybody, for those of you who haven't been watching us for now the past decade, Johnny G sends in squats. They're typically a little bit above depth, right? As far as I remember, we're like, John, either get some lifters, we'll figure this out. He has something to raise his heels up, effectively what a lifter does, and then surprise he's at depth. So hopefully a lifting shoe will just correct this.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard single, still the leanest calves in the game, Johnny. Just like
striations.
Emaciated calves. His calves are on chemotherapy constantly, just being killed. I wonder if maybe he could be like a bike courier for work, and he's just biking, 50 miles a day.
He looks like he spent some time in an SS camp, to be honest.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. God damn. Anything else you would fix on this, Chase? Of course, that's out of the obvious shoe wood situation.
I don't really like his thoracic extension a little bit. So like Johnny, as you're warming up, you're gonna have your grip just wherever it's at. As you're warming up, let it kind of encroach in a little bit more. See if you can't gain it in like another 2 finger widths or so. And then from there, you're gonna think about poking out your sternum, popping out your nipples, making the bar roll down your back. Any of those cues to really help set the upper back. And then just bending at the waist.
Yeah, elbows down, chest up, combine those two, and that's going to help out a ton. All right, so we'll get through these. We'll go to Kathy Gloria, then we'll go back to John for this next one. I previewed this one. This one is going to be interesting. He also had her do a single, and it was a rough single. So this is, hold on, there we go. All right, everybody. Kathy in the game. This seems to be 65, 75 pounds.
Johnny, how long has your wife been training, man?
Yeah. Yeah, so just in general, for anybody sending in any videos, like relative strength included, we want working sets, so like sets of 3 to 6 reps rather than a single. A single, while certainly informative, it's not going to be the most helpful because we're just not getting as much information. So for this one, this looks like a relatively untrained squat. So where would you start with something like this, Chase?
Oh, probably just the empty bar. Yeah. So Johnny said she just started. So I kind of had to have this conversation with one of my apprentices at the gym, is that everyone's really gung-ho about adding a bunch of weight at the start, which in reality, you don't need to, right? So he said it's like pulling teeth to get into lift. Yeah. So
don't have her do heavy singles.
Exactly. So now you kind of just shot yourself in the foot, Johnny, with making her do too light of a load, right? So just make this thing like super easy. She's still going to be very stressed. It may not feel like, muscle soreness or DOMS, what normally people feel after an intro, but there's some central nervous system stuff going on that is just firing up after doing an intro. So her just learning to do a 3x5 at 35 pounds, 45 pounds is going to be probably better suited for her than doing a single at 70 pounds. Right?
Yeah, she's so sensitive to training because she hasn't trained before that doing a heavy single, like anything remotely close to your programming, Sir Gloria, it's not going to be a good idea. Yeah. Like literally empty bar, bunch of pause squats, get her familiar with depth, get the bar position in the right place, have her figure out where the midfoot is. You have a lot of tasks and chores to get through before you're like, heavy metal, fucking time for singles, Kathy. Yeah. Let it rip.
I mean, but so far, like this
How's it
really
gonna
isn't
look?
that bad. Like she's leaning over
Yeah.
enough. She's driving her ass. So I
Mhm.
mean, you have some good stuff to work on, Johnny. It's just don't let her go up until she's really kind of nailing the basics here.
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is that that's not going to be comfortable on her neck. Like if you were to,
Nope.
this was actually what the hell? This was the last rep of a 3x5, but you just sent me one. You clipped it? What in tarnation? All right, so let's pretend this is the last rep of a 3x5. Then she's doing a 3x5 75. We're erasing all of that. Then at that point, I would triage, getting the bar in a comfortable spot. This is certainly not going to be comfortable for her. The bar, I can see the bar rolling up into her neck the whole time. There's a bunch of really good videos on this. If you just go to the Starting Strength YouTube channel, type in bar position or squat bar, there's going to be like 7 of them that go over exhaustingly where exactly to put it, where someone should be doing it, if they're doing it by themselves or if they're teaching it to someone else. Oh, you had to sneak the video.
I'm sure she's gonna love it. I'm sure she's gonna love it being live on YouTube.
Oh man, it's just getting worse and worse and worse.
I know it is. It's layer upon layer here.
God. Yeah, she's not even. Okay, all right. Well, good on you, John, for getting her to start training in any situation.
Yeah.
But it's going to be bar position, and then you notice, like, if you ever have your lifter wincing, like they're in pain and closing their eyes and going dramatically, generally something is going awry, especially this early on in the beginning. She is high of depth as well. You're just going to get her to figure out how to close her knee. So like a closed arm is like this. I'm closing my arm, opening, closing. You need to figure out how to get her how to close her knee. So sitting her hips down onto her heels rather than just focusing on leaning over. She's leaning over so much right now. She's getting collapsed by the bar that she's not actually getting the depth. So it's like she needs to really let her hips ride all the way down to her heels. Yeah. And then even John, even if you record it and then just show it to her immediately afterwards so you can talk to her about the lifts. Be like, this is what you look like when you're lifting. Let's figure out how to do this together as a collaborative project, is way better than just doing like the creep show. It's like,
just underneath the arm. Just
exactly.
Like,
I'm on the phone, I'm talking to somebody. Oh God. All right. We got one more from John. This one is not a Kriya peeping Tom video, so that's good. This is promising. Promising starting position here, everybody. Jesus Christ, these calves. What the fuck, John?
They're about to pop.
Chase, so this weekend I pulled on have you seen the new Kabuki deadlift bar? It's very long, it's very whippy, and it's very blue. You could pull 850 on it if you wanted to.
What is it, a 27 millimeter, or is it less?
It's
What's it called?
The Kabuki deadlift bar. I actually don't know.
Dudes just stand around and it.
Yeah.
Chase doesn't know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're terrible.
Chase doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so it's the hold on, let's see. All right, I'm just gonna play this again so that everybody can watch John Gloria lift while I look at this.
I mean, it's the same.
It's a 27. Yeah, it's a 27. It's 95 and a quarter inches, Chase. But it's longer and it's so whippy. It's not even funny. With 225 on it, you can start feeling it. If you pull the slack out of it with like a finger, you can start feeling it bend a little bit.
Jesus.
It was every weight on it was the easiest weight I've ever pulled in my life. I pulled 500 on it. It was like a 7. It was the easiest 500 I've ever pulled.
Yeah.
It was crazy. At 455, and I was like, okay, I'll take this out for like number 1, just see how it feels. I literally laughed at lockout. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is the easiest weight I've ever pulled.
Yeah.
It's cheating. It's cheating on a deadlift. It's like once it's off the floor, it feels like it's a normal weight. It's still a little whippy at lockout if your lockout is fast.
Yeah.
But we did 3 sets of bumpers on the inside and then steel on the outside for that.
Yeah.
So when you're at 5, it was so funny, dude. It was so funny. We tried using a deadlift jack in the middle, and then the plates just stayed on the floor.
Jesus Christ.
It was a short deadlift jack too. But if you get your hands on a Kabuki deadlift bar, you got a free 825, free 840.
Fuck yeah. And then if I pull sumo, going to be 9.
Yes.
Do the plates have to leave the floor though?
Oh my god, it was hysterical pulling out of that thing.
Man.
Yeah, the knurling's really nice too. It was like
It wasn't too aggressive.
No, not too aggressive at all.
Really?
It was like it is a bar specifically designed for gym PR deadlifts.
That's awesome.
That's it. Yeah, they call it. I'm on their website. It's called the PR deadlift bar. It's because if you have a deadlift, you are going to PR your deadlift on it. Yeah, cool, dude. Yeah, there's a wait list on it. Yeah, it's like a rogue elephant bar that you can get for your house, basically.
Jesus.
Yeah, Chase, if you can get your email Ray and be like, listen, I need one of these immediately.
So I could just pull fucking outrageous amounts of weight.
Yeah. Oh god, it's hysterical, dude. Yeah, Mick, you should get one for the balcony, Mick.
Sure.
Yeah.
Replace my $150 job.
Yeah. The ego bar. Man, honestly, it's like if you have someone who just keeps getting if someone who just really hates pulling off the floor and they're like, listen, you give me a 1-inch advantage and it's so much more comfortable, just give them a fucking kabuki deadlift bar. If they're reasonably strong, it's already going to be up there. Chase, have you been watching these deadlifts?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about him, dog?
He's just jerking you out of position.
Okay, he's jerking it.
Yep. So he's losing back extension. He's trying to like resave the bar by a little bit of a hitch on some of the frames. So it's like right there, kind of rehitching a little bit. I don't know. My fucking video is slow as shit, but I could still see that he's fucking it up pretty good. So Johnny, what I'd think about is just like setting up and then try to push on the thing as slowly as possible. So you're not really worried about how fast you can make this deadlift move. You're just worried about how efficiently stronger you can get this lower back position. So focus more so on the low back and not about the weight in your hands, and this will be probably just fine.
Yeah, rep 3 popped forward a little bit too. So like like what Chase is saying, if you jerk into the bar's weight is going to pull you out of position. Now that the bar is heavier than you by a good bit, before it was a little bit lighter, now that it's heavier than you, you're going to shift forward because that's where the bar is. And then you can see that really well on number 3. So snaps into it, whole thing shifts forward. And that's kind of when he gets stuck. And then it'll start picking up the pace again whenever he gets it back from midfoot. Thumbs up from Johnny G. Ben Bushman, you got to get a fucking kabuki deadlift bar, man. All right, we got a question from G Lock. You guys want to take this?
So G Lock, haven't lifted consistently in about 3 months due to fatherhood. Should be able to ease back in this week and next. Any tips? Yeah, man, just fucking throw your baby out and start deadlifting.
It's not like he actually gave birth to the baby either. It's like, what's your excuse, bro?
That's true. That's true. He did not give birth to the baby. Yeah.
No, I mean, but I think the biggest thing you have to worry about, G-Lock, is just sleep. I mean, sleep is going to be just probably number 1 top priority here because you have none of it because your kid's just waking you up at all weird hours. So just find time enough to nap in between the day if you can. At least get a nap in before you train, I think, and you're going to feel much better heading into the training session. But of course, just deload it to a weight that you're able to handle pretty efficiently. Don't go too crazy. I would probably be even more considerate with how much you deload because of the lack of sleep. Your recovery is shit, and it's going to be like that for a little bit. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, sleep is the number 1 thing. So like anything you can do to make your room more quiet, more dark, that's going to be better for you. So like taking pets out. Ooh, Keithy P. Nice. Wait a second. Do you guys remember Keith P?
Is this to do with like the Mick freezer?
Yeah, he had the cuck shed over here for Mick to
sit. Yeah.
So it seems like he has a squat rack now.
Yeah, he does.
He's moved.
Oh, true. He had a crappy platform.
He had one of the kind of combo bench squat rack things.
Yeah.
So Keithy P is getting it together.
Upgrading.
Yeah, he's moving on up.
Mick is streaming from the cuck shed right now. Yeah, so back to G-Lock.
It's comfortable now.
It's nice and cozy. Got a good view of everything in the cuck
I feel
shed.
safe with Keith. I feel like
he's
he
taking
really
good care of my
me.
wife. Yeah. My wife and my wife's son love Keith so much. We're going to see a press too. It's Keith, you're killing it on this video.
Damn, man.
Yeah, so one thing I'd say for people who have taken a significant layoff after being sufficiently strong already is that your muscles are going to be a lot faster on catching up than things like tendons, ligaments, and joint health and joint pain are. So even though something may feel light and may feel relatively high reps in reserve or a low RPE, that doesn't mean that all of the harder structures, joints, all of that around it will be able to handle it as well. So
Mhm.
it's like you may move 315 and be like, oh, that actually felt pretty similar to what it did before. But if you try to do the same amount of volume that you did with that weight as you were back whenever you were in good shape, it's going to wreck you now. You know, so a big thing about it is slowly working up your level of conditioning, fitness, strength, whatever the fuck you want to call it, so that you can handle the amount of training that you were doing before. Because if you were going from
Yeah.
lifting 3 or 4 times a week with decently heavy loads, chances are you can probably still move loads close to that because you still have a pretty similar amount of muscle mass. Right? You lost some, but not all of it. You can still move weights that are similar to it, but it doesn't mean that the rest of the system is ready to lift it as aggressively yet.
Yeah.
Right? So pace your return for sure. But like the best advice I would do is try to get up to a similar level of working volume relatively early on, but then just don't be in a rush to get back to a PR.
Yeah.
Because it's like 3 months off is a pretty significant layoff.
Not only that, just how much catabolic stress you're getting with no fucking sleep and stress and
Exactly.
all that stuff. Yeah.
How many calories you're losing to breastfeeding? The baby's
Yeah.
just
It's
sucking your
just,
life force out of you.
it's a damn leech.
All right, let's go to these squats again, Chase.
Hmm.
Do you want to take it? Do you want me to do it?
I don't care. It's whatever you want to do.
So the first thing is that your boy. Did you see the tape here on the floor, Chase?
No, I did not. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Now I see it. I
Yep.
was actually, I thought the shadow there on the wall was like one of those bar force
Oh, the tendo
measurement.
unit. Yeah, the
Yeah,
velocity
yeah, yeah.
guys.
I
Yeah.
thought that was
Mhm.
that, but it wasn't.
That would have been a good upgrade too. Cuck
Yeah, it
shed
would've.
velocity. There's the guy who's in the cuck shed is reading the velocity of the bar constantly. He's in there with the radio. But yeah, so the stance is too wide. The toe
Yeah.
angle, I think, is a little bit conservative, frankly. So, you have the tape in a fine place. I would just pull your heels in a little bit more,
Mhm.
frankly. And then you need to get deeper. Do you think these are high, Chase, or do you think these are
Oh,
kind of at
yes.
depth?
Very
Because they're
high.
certainly high by, I would say, 2-3 inches,
Well, yeah, his knees just keep going towards the bench so
Mm-hmm.
much.
Yeah. So
He's just not sitting back.
what would be your kind of number one priority to correct this?
Definitely stance would help a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now he's way forward. I can see air underneath his heels.
Heels are coming in,
Where,
yeah.
yeah, so if he just rotate him in, just like Alex was talking about, and then from there, again, kind of that tailbone cue, stretch everything back, and then forcefully get back into your hips, you'll be just fine.
Yeah, the upper back position, the grip actually looked pretty good. The head maybe
Mhm.
coming up a little bit too much, but like it's not the end of the world.
No.
But I'd say yeah, big thing is stance and then figuring out how to feel it in your hips.
Yeah.
Ooh, Teo's here. How's it going, Teo? Our man. Alan Throw has a good video on the mental aspect of doing what you can. Yes, yeah. Alan Throw has a good video about lifting for newborn dads, and basically it's like if you have 5 minutes, just go bang some fucking push-ups out, bang some pull-ups out. Have a rack in your house with a bar loaded on it, and then just go do some overhead press when you get a minute.
Or don't have kids. That's the other alternative.
Yeah, that's another one too.
I'm gonna have enough kids to make up for you two. Don't worry.
Nice. I feel like there's a lot of like really poor people already doing that already. So I don't feel
There's
too
going to
bad
be a
about it.
population collapse, Mick. We need more workers.
Where?
There is. Yes. All right. So how would we fix Keithy P's deadlifts from falling out in front of him? I think is a very valid question.
Man, we're probably gonna have to play with his stance here. So maybe the width is fine with his heel placement, but his toes need to kick out almost kind of like a frog. So what that's going to do is going to rotate his knees out more. Yeah, so like if his knees were like Alex's hands, he's going to create more room to where his stomach and his belt can fit into. Because right now, the bar is like 3 inches away from the midfoot, and he's already feeling like he can't get any better suited in this position, just because everything's bunched up. So I wouldn't probably even use a belt for a while too, because I know this is a different belt than what he was using for on the squat, but I think it's still bunching up too much. It's just giving him some bad feedback. Rotating out the toes and then focusing on getting everything back, pulling back with the lats, and then setting the back.
Yeah. as you lose weight as well, Keith, your belly is going to get smaller, and it's going to make this setup a lot easier as well. So one thing with the belt, like Chase was saying, is that it can give you the feeling of being too bunched up when you're really not. I know MJDC, he's been dealing with this as well, but as he's been losing weight, his deadlift position has been getting better too. So rep 1 was your best rep of the set, and it just gets worse and worse as the set goes on. So like it may be worth it just to step away from the bar, reset every single time, follow the instructions more strictly, keep the bar over the middle of your foot. If it feels like anything really on the deadlift is falling forward, it likely is. If it feels like your nose is going forward, your hands are going forward, the bar is going forward, anything like that, you've probably lost it already. This is just, it weighs a little bit more than you. Not terrible. It's not like twice your body weight or anything. It's probably like 1.1, 1.2 times your body weight. So you can still handle it, frankly, if it pulls 3 inches forward of the midfoot.
Yeah.
But once it's heavy, if you put 400 pounds on here, 440, and it's now, twice your body weight, it's not going to work. So you need to think about that now and just get everything as glued back to you as humanly possible.
Man, I'm almost tempted to say, like, even try some rack pulls. Maybe like one day out of the week that you're training, I would just do like a heavy rack pull, enough to kind of really drive strength here, and then use the other 2 days as like a lighter deadlift to help with your positioning and getting more comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. We're just going to leave this.
Oh,
this is the pinned comment for the day, everybody. I miss these guys.
Oh, they're back.
They're back, everybody. Sexfind.info. All right, hold on.
I always wondered how to find sex, and now I know where to go.
Where it is the... Oh, that's nice. It pulls your location data, and it says, looking for hot hookups in Alexandria. Oh, amazing.
Ooh,
and there's a timer at the bottom. It says, girls are waiting. Hurry up. I have 50 seconds left. If I don't make it in time, I'm going to be a virgin forever.
Must have been like baby talk. The algorithm
that's probably what it was. Yeah, it heard me talking about population collapse, and it's good. It said me that. All right, so let's move on to the press here. And then did Mick? Can you check if Relative Strength sent in his video as well? By the way.
Yeah.
Because while he's here.
Yeah, sure.
This is the big man pressing grip. Oh, by the way, Keith, I forgot to mention this earlier on the deadlift. You are exhaling a lot. You're opening your mouth. You're kind of looking up a lot of that stuff with the deadlift. Just keep your mouth shut. Hold your breath in. Breathe at the bottom. Don't do any of that, because you're kind of doing it here on the press too. But it's not as bad because it's the press. But all right. So Chase, this is an interesting topic. Very big people on the press who have a lot of mass on the front of their body and their arms, things like that. How do you get them into a good overhead press grip?
I still go the same width to where their arms, or rather their forearms, are vertical at the bottom. So like here, not too bad. Maybe in just a little bit with the grip, but then making sure that their wrists are going to be straight, right? So he's kind of compensating with getting the bar underneath his chin by jacking up his chin a little bit. So I'm not too worried if this thing starts above his chin, because he's just that big of a guy, right? But I'm more so worried about the mechanical advantage that his wrist is experiencing, making sure that his wrist isn't in any pain, or just, the moment arm on his wrist in general. And then getting his elbows up to where he's more suitable for the hip bounce that he's trying to attempt to do, right? Yeah. So getting all that thing fixed to where this kinetic chin can efficiently move the load is going to be the big thing. And then 2, wadding out the stance, getting him to figure out the hip motion is going to be way more beneficial, and he'll feel the bounce here.
All right, I'm going to put myself... Oh, no, that's Chase. Yeah, so the problem with these bigger guys is that this position right here, where I'm bunching this up together for the press, I can be here and compact. They just can't get here, right? So if I'm going to try to find this still frame from him here. He's like this. He's all the way out to the side. We'll move this out and back again. So his arm, to get into a similar position where the forearms are vertical and the bar is kind of over his shoulder, he has to be to the outside. He has to be like here, whereas I can be right in front of me, because you'll see some people who like to press almost right here. So the big guy press, it's a lot different, just because you're dealing with so much different you're just dealing with a lot of different structure on the front of the shoulder. But like the kind of the constraints that you have to obey, like Chase was saying, it's like the wrist position, where the bar is over the shoulder, try to get the elbows in front of the bar. Anything else you want to touch on for Keith Pete, Chase?
Same thing with bigger guys is that you're trying to get the bounce off your lats by just pulling it down. So don't worry about your arms once they're in that position. Just again, straight wrist, elbows slightly in front of the bar, and then the bounce is happening from your lower body, not your upper body.
All right, we got relative strength as well.
I think this is him.
I think this is him as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to put his video up real quick, and then I'll put his comment up. Can one of you guys read that while I'm getting this video up?
Yeah. So relative strength. I've been training in my garage 2 years now, and yesterday on my press, I got 6 singles at 220. I'm a bit disappointed it's so low. Is this normal for 2 years? Because I thought it'd be close to 300. Ha.
That was a good read, Chase. Ha.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. All right, so this is relative strength, everybody. He has a cool garage. We'll start with that.
He's lifting in jeans and what appear to be, are they sandals or are they lifting shoes? I think they're lifting shoes.
They don't have a heel on them, but they're like,
I think there's some of those minimalist shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what? Okay. So by the way, everybody, for the record, if you've been training for about 2 years, a press at 220 is good. It's a good press for anybody.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is going to depend on how large you are. If you're like a 5'3" guy from Ecuador, you're never going to press 220. But if you're like a 6'2" guy from Oklahoma, you're probably going to be able to press 220. So it really depends on where you're starting at. But how do you feel about these?
Would you say it's relative?
It's. I don't think people realize how relative it is. Like people with narrow frames who are like 5'8", 5'9", they're like, oh my god, I can only press 165. What's wrong with me? It's like, yeah, but you weigh 165. Like, all right, Chase, the press doctor. What do you think about this?
Press doctor. It's just the timing's a little bit off. So he's just kind of pulling it down and then wanting to throw his hips afterwards. So the other sequence has to occur, right? So with relative here, you're going to have to think about, as you're warming up, doing a slower reach with the hips. So getting them further, feeling the bounce, and then pressing after that. Once you feel that your hips are actually moving first before you're pressing, start speeding up the movement and then seeing if you can't get this thing done whenever you're doing the heavier singles. But again, just do it more so on your warm-ups, because as it's heavy, you're going to go back to your old form, and it's going to be hard to break this habit. But I think that, and then widening out the stance, not bending the knees, will be totally fine.
Yeah. I think the wider stance would help a lot, even because I think this rep was slightly forward for a little bit too long. Yeah, because we can see it kind of recalibrating once it gets a few inches past the top of the head. So I would recommend trying to throw it backwards over the shoulder more aggressively. Everything that Chase said, the stance adjustment is a really good one. And I mean, 6 singles at 225, that means your 1 rep max is probably, like 237, 240 on a good day. So like it's
still impressive, man.
It's still a good press. Just don't neglect your volume work. It's like you have a decent amount of muscle on you already. And Andy Baker's talked about this ad nauseum. I go on about it a good bit, but it's like you need to do lighter, more voluminous work if you're not already at like your terminal amount of muscle, right? So it's like Chase probably is never going to be 275 lean. It's probably just never going to happen. Chase is almost at his terminal size. So for him, it's going to be all strength work all the time. Someone like Mick, for example, Mick can put on 30 pounds of muscle. You know what I mean? So if in that process, Mick does some sets of 6, some sets of 8, after he's done benching, he goes in and does a lighter press and then just gets his volume work in. It's going to go a long way to getting your shoulders bigger, your triceps bigger, all that stuff. Because you still have a lot of room on your frame to fill out. It seems like still pickers.
Well, not only that too, like this is a very technical lift, and the more that you practice it too, like this is going to help carry over whenever it's a little bit heavier.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm curious about what your bench is, buddy. Let me know what your bench press is. Because if you're one of those guys who's like, if you're not benching 300 yet, but then you're pressing 220, for example, I would just tell you just to get your bench up to 405. And then that'll probably take care of your pressing problems.
Can we take a look at
which one?
Butt wink, my low from the Reddit form check.
Okay,
put in the private chat.
Let me pull that up.
So
we got some questions as well.
Yeah. So G-Lock, part of my 3 months off included a move. Any things to look for in a new gym aside from racks / platforms? I mean, So if he's doing like a home gym, which I doubt it, it's just standard equipment, making sure that your platform is level, and finding a good bar in place. But if you're looking for like a commercial gym, yeah, it'd be racks, definitely bars. I would say, well, here's kind of my list. It'd be racks, a bar, and then chalk. Probably those three things, and you can get by with, a little bit of some shitty plates and stuff like that.
Come on, Alex. Come on, Alex.
What is your boy doing here, Mick?
This guy went out of his way to message me and say, "Can you please look at me?"
Oh, so Smart Chap 1 sent this to you?
Yeah, no, because I posted on Reddit FormChecks and say, "Hey, starting strength coaches are going to be looking over this tomorrow. If there's anyone who particularly wants a form check, DM me." This guy DM me. So, like I said, all right, we'll do it.
Okay, all right. Smart Chap number 1. Yeah, I have a lot.
Butt wink is the biggest issue in this.
G-Lock's question as well. Okay, so here's what's going on. It seems like he has plates under his feet. He's facing the wrong way in the squat rack, and he too just got off the trains as well. So he's a fresh delivery out of the camps for Smart Chap. So let's see what the comments say. Chase, did you get a good look at this already?
Yeah, I didn't see the plates thing until now that you mentioned it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got some Heelys on.
Yeah,
I'll boost him up.
Some Heelys.
All right, so Breezy said, "Why are you facing the wrong way?" All right, 2 reasons.
His reply got downvoted. His reply got downvoted. Doesn't even show.
Do I have to click on this? Does it really matter? I never thought about it, but this way it feels more natural to me. R.I.P. R.I.P. buddy. 2 reasons to face the right way. Blah, blah, blah. All right, lower back is taxed because you're sitting your hips way back and getting minimal knee flexion. Let's look at his terminal knee flexion, everybody, and then see. That's a lot of knee flexion. That's a sufficient amount of knee flexion. These actually aren't that bad.
No, I think what he meant to say was just the timing of the knees, because he is kind of leaning over and initiating that first. But I mean, overall, like his form really isn't that bad. It's just
really not.
It's fucking just so small.
There's just so many. Yeah, there's a bunch of other things orbiting around the squat, which are the problem. Yeah, so first thing is get some lifting shoes. They'll be a big help to you as you put 5 pounds on the bar every time for the next, 14 months of your life.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the butt wink. You're just seeing the round of your ass. You're just seeing your lower back move a little bit. It's not a big deal. Don't care about it at all right now. Yeah, it should really be the least of your concerns. The bar position.
It's more of a bone wink.
Yeah, bone wink. Yeah, very minimal glute Stephen B winking. And then the bar position is a little bit high. Do you think he's on his heels, Chase, or do you think he's over midfoot?
At the bottom, I think he kind of creeps back into midfoot, but as he's starting out, he's loading his heels too much.
There's an auto response.
Oh, fuck, man.
There's a robot that says, "Hello, butt wink is often caused by restrictions in ankle mobility. This is patently untrue. Our subs wiki has links to test your mobility." Ooh, we got to test our mobility, guys. Damn, how to check ankle mobility? This is great.
Damn, dude, that's a lot.
This is the first thing. So important tips and info, how to check ankle mobility. Squat University, everybody. Bam.
Yay.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God. Fucking damn it. Chase, how often do you find it the limiting factor that someone's ankle mobility is the problem?
Dude, I've never.
I've had people who have had ruptured Achilles tendons whose their ankle mobility is not the problem in getting to depth on a squat. Bar is set high in your back, bracing should be fine. Your hip hinge is way too exaggerated. Yeah, so I don't know why people are telling him to remain more upright. I don't know necessarily what the value of that is.
I think they just see the low back being bent. So now it's either butt wink or 2, you got to keep it a little bit more vertical to help with not rounding it.
Yeah, it's like he's already putting something under his heels to get his knees a little bit more forward. So it's like you could ask for more of that. If he just has limited dorsiflexion of his ankles, like what are you going to do? You can say, "Oh, stretch it out over the next 6 months," but what he's supposed to do for that period of 6 months, just not squat, Like if you moved his knees forward another 1.5 inches, for example, his torso would incline maybe another 5 degrees. Like who gives a shit?
I think the big thing too is like, look, he's so skinny that he has no muscle on his back to even control the positioning of his hips that effectively.
Yeah.
So it's like if he gains another 20 pounds, he's going to get more muscle mass, and then you're going to see this butt wink shit slowly disappear. and he's going to be able to set his back.
God, this ankle thing. I wrote like half an article about like why it's not your ankle mobility, because it's just infuriating when people are like, oh, you know what the problem to your whole squat is? It's the fact that you don't have great dorsiflexion of your ankles. Yeah, it's just like it's exceedingly silly. Waking your butt at rip gets you kicked out of WFAC. That's probably true. How's it going, MJ? How you doing?
There's a fair bit of shit posting on this guy's squat, to be honest.
This seems like
no, I mean in our comments. In our comments. Come on, guys, be nice. You know, you asked for a form check.
Yeah, I'm always just upset. All right, so by the way, we have a guy who submitted his form check under the dungeon, so we'll do that one.
The dungeon.
The dungeon.
Before we do that, so we got Edvin Vito still. What would be considered good numbers for a 43-year-old, 5 and 7 inches tall, and weighs 205 pounds? Right now, my best numbers are squat, a triple at 415, deadlift 490 for 1, press a triple at 210, and then my bench press is at 260 for 2.
We would need to know how long you've been training for. Like if you've been training for 2 weeks, amazing.
That's pretty fucking good. Yeah.
If you've been training for a decade and a half, meh.
Those are shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see if he. Okay, no, that's Captain Awesome again. Yes. Yeah. So a big part of the misconception about ankle mobility is just like a lack of. No one is willing to acknowledge anthropometry into anything at all.
Yeah.
They're just really reticent to acknowledge it as being a factor. But okay, so let's just say, for example, so Chase, if Edwin was lifting, let's say he's 3 years in. He's 3 years in and he has these numbers. What do you think?
That's pretty damn good if he's 3 years in. Like I'm gonna say, like if 3 years ago he probably maybe started out with like 135 on the squat, and then maybe deadlifted 185, maybe 205, and then pressed like 95, and then bench press close to 115, 135. All that shit's pretty good. I think maybe now, like if you're hitting maybe like a triple on the squat, so he's been training for 3.5 years. Nice call.
Okay, we were close.
But by doing it by myself, I had to go back and fix my form. Yeah, so those are going to be the big things happening, how far you're going to be able to progress. I think like right now, Edvin, it could be just programming shit. I'm just going to assume that your lifts are perfect and they're textbook, but I think there's better ways to where you can maybe program some shit to where you can surpass your numbers right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 3.5 years. I think this is, we'll put the initial numbers back up. All right. So he's 3.5 years in, low 4s, high 4s, low 2s, mid 2s for squat, deadlift, press, bench. Yeah, I think that's solid for 3 years. This is kind of the at 5'7" and 205. This is the equivalent of someone who's like 6 feet tall and they weigh like 230.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like you're a pretty stout guy at 5'7" at 205.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Kind of reconcile what other activities you're doing. If you're only lifting, kind of expect this to be higher. But if you're playing soccer or if you're playing football or if you're doing rock climbing, if you're doing something else at the same time, expect that to be a little bit lower. I think those are kind of those are spot on. Think about the rate of progress. If you've had like a decent clip of progress and then your progress has stopped for 6 months, chances are it's your programming. But if it's been slowly increasing and there's no signs of it slowing down, then you're probably fine.
Yep.
All right, so this is the dungeon, everybody. We're in the dungeon squat right now. Chase, how are you feeling about this bottom position?
It's very dungeony. It's very low.
So he's on the soft puzzle mats, by the way. So first things first, I would certainly take those out. Because it's like you don't need to walk on them,
No, they're going to deform a little bit.
Yeah. Right now, I'm trying to do try to program 1 lift a day. No other activity at the moment other than dealing with 2 kids. Get a 3rd and a 4th kid pronto, buddy. You can do it. I believe in you. Keep pumping them out. But for the dungeon, take the foam pads out from the floor. This is one of those squats where the bottom position, if you freeze frame, it looks pretty good. But how he got there looks a little bit weird. So he's kind of crashing into the bottom position. First rep slightly high. And it's getting better as the set goes on. What are you thinking about these, Chase?
I mean, overall, this isn't bad. It's just, again, controlling how he needs to bend the hips and knees at the same time. So, like, just putting your nipples on top of your knees as you're going down and then keeping them there on the way up, establishing that back angle is going to be the big thing because, I mean, you're pretty long femored, so you're just letting them go forward, your knees rather, real fast, and that's kind of the crash that Alex is talking about. And, look, this is working at, let's say, like 245 or whatever the hell this is. But as soon as it gets heavier, this is going to start causing some problems.
Yeah, it's a big pacing thing.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I would say more lean, faster. You know, try to get your knees set about a third of the way down and then just guide everything down after that. I would also put some safeties on. I don't think you have any safeties here. So definitely get something there. Other than that, I think that should be all. I'm curious about what his deadlift looks like. Those are decently good start for the squats. Oh, one pet peeve of mine right here, actually. On his unrack, he's sitting it down literally on the hooks. So he clips it right there. He's on the edge of the hook. Just push it into the rack. If the rack tilts a little bit, that's fine. You almost want it to tilt so you can confirm it's in there.
Dude, fuck it, man. It's the dungeon. We don't have any safety, man.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's the dungeon. He's ready to die. Yeah. All right, we got one from Paul 75. Or no, we've done Paul 75 before. We'll do one of Tian's lifts real quick. Tian ZZZ sent us in 3 lifts. Maybe we'll do.
Is that the Dragon Ball Z dude?
Yeah, Tian. He was the guy in like the white tank top with the green pants, eye vagina. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad to see him that he's back to training and getting stronger. He got his ass kicked several times, but
yeah, he's back out of the bar now. He lost maybe 80 pounds. Yeah. He's more Chinese now.
Oh yeah, that's him. Yep.
Yeah, this is Tian. His bangs are covering up the eyeball. Yep. All right, so this definitely looks like a college gym. This is the Classico college gym squat rack right here. That's pretty deep. It's a nice deep squat.
It's an Asian squat, that's for sure.
This is a great argument as to why someone should get squat shoes. So for those of you who can't see this as well as I can, of course, his feet are kind of wobbling around inside the shoe. There's no good surface of contact, and he's popping back and forth the whole time. This is almost
his ankle mobility. It's probably not that good.
That's true. Yeah, if we sent him to squat you, they would be like, "Listen, man, it's not the shoes. In fact, yeah, put more foam in your shoes. Go get like 3 orthotic insoles. Shove them in your shoe." Yeah, squat shoes would be a big help here for sure.
I'd say that, and too, like you're trying to like you're leaning over a little bit excessively. So, you know what Mix was saying, like you are built just like the Chinese squat, where it's like you're going to be very vertical with your back angle, and then your knees are going to be kind of really far forward, but you're holding them back a little bit as you come up, and then you're just really trying to produce this very horizontal back angle. When in reality, I think you just need to move your eyes up just a little bit more, get your chest up, and then just squat straight down, and your back angle is going to be just perfect after that.
Yeah, embrace your anthropometry, buddy. If you have someone with a long otter torso, don't tell them to like lean over as much as they possibly can. If you have someone with a really short torso and you're telling them to stay upright, it's not going to happen. No. Yes, Captain Awesome. It's like having a little mini Bosu ball in each foot. It's terrible. Yeah, I didn't have my squat shoes on my last trip that I was on last week. I just didn't have the space for it. And I just tried to squat in like very thin shoes here. Oh, that's Paul 75. Actually, maybe we didn't do your video. I'm not sure. I'll pull up Paul's video in a second. But yeah, squatting and not squat shoes after you squat in squat shoes, it's terrible. Let's pull up Paul 75's.
So this is Paul. So he said, "Hey guys, Paul 75 here. I got a gym bro telling me I was bending over too much. LOL. The guy only uses machines in the gym. Showed him the app form video. LOL, and he retreated."
You know what?
What video?
Paul, let me know if we did this video before.
Oh, in the videos inside the app that shows how to squat.
Yeah. This was still in our folder. I'm not sure if we did this one or not. Paul, what you got to do is just have your gallery open and be like, "Oh, I'm referencing this," and then just have pornography up. Is what the goal is. And be like, "Oh, I didn't mean to show you that," and then scroll to the next one, and then it's more pornography, and then be like "Oh, wrong picture. Sorry."
It's even more hardcore than the next.
Exactly. Yeah. Just have it just be freeze frames. Be like, oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Let me go to the next image and then scroll again. And then
Just put like a bunch of random videos of just like people throwing up. Be like, sorry.
Sorry.
Hey, Paul 75, are you going to come to Brisbane to do the SS training camp next year? He's in Australia.
Oh yeah, he's playing footy. So footy, I used to believe those guys would leave me alone since I started to squat more than them, but it didn't happen, sadly.
No.
Yeah, Pete, you guys are just too handsome and charismatic. People just want to talk to you. That's it. Yeah, LOL. Okay. Yeah. So this squat, for example, I really don't think you're leaning over very dramatically. What do you guys think?
I actually wasn't paying attention to the video.
I mean, it's not. It's he's leaning over the amount that he needs to keep the bar over midfoot, which is an amount.
Yeah,
I don't think this is that bad at all.
I think it says he's overdoing the hip drive too, kind of just shooting back a little bit too much. So, two things: it's the hip drive, and then I think that's also fucking with the bar positioning on your back. So, you're going to think about a little bit more upright with your torso, just showing off the nipples, letting the bar kind of rest back into your hands and your grip a little bit. And then from there, just make sure that you're keeping your hips kind of almost underneath the load as you're squatting. So not only on the way down, but on the way back up too.
Yeah, I think the way down is pretty clean. On the up, just think about driving your chest up into the bar at the same time. Yeah. So it's not hips by themselves, it's hips and chest together. Yeah. And then like Chase was saying, it is a little bit of a neglected point. If you hip drive too much, if you have activated too much of the hip drive, you kick it into fourth gear when you hip drive, the bar can roll up on you, right? So you want to everything in moderation. It's like we want to see hip drive so that we know it's kind of a way to tell that the bar is staying over the middle of the foot. You know, if someone's leading with their chest, chances are the knees and hips are having to recalibrate to stay over midfoot. We just want the hips to come up. It works out really well. We want them to lead the movement. If they're dominating the movement and the chest is falling too far behind, that's also equally a problem, you know. But yeah, this is solid. I think we did BC Hendricks. We did that one.
Can we do that YouTube one that I put in the comment?
Yeah, we're on to the YouTube one now. Was this the one you sent me? Or here we go. The squat 340. We're pulling it up now, boys.
Was this like half Thor's shit?
Oh yeah, we should show that one actually.
I did not watch that. I assumed it was clickbait and didn't click on it. Did he die?
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to him.
Did
he die, Mick?
No, he's still alive, but he.
Rip.
I'll pull it up.
This is an interestingly textured basement.
Yeah, he has like what is those like camo bulletproof matting, and then
he has moving blankets taped up here. I wonder if that's I don't think that's mirrors. It's probably windows, or maybe it's just unfinished insulation. He wants it for. I'm not sure. Know. There's a lot of surfaces going on here, Aaron Davis. We're curious about what's going on in your basement. Yeah, footy, yeah. So we don't want the bar to move at all. So if you can feel the bar moving around, that's a good indicator that you're doing something a little bit awry and it needs to be fixed. Yeah. These squats aren't that bad. I think the head position's a little bit low, but we're getting picky. What else do you think is going on here, Chase?
I think he's relaxing a little bit in the bottom too. Just making sure that. And again, this is probably the eye positions kind of playing a little bit bigger role than just the relaxing part, but making sure that the shoulder blades are being pinched, that he's not relaxing to go even deeper than he should be. On the later reps, they were fine, but on the earlier ones, he's kind of just dive bombing, it feels like.
Yeah. This guy seems like he wants to go down a little bit early on everything. Everybody watch this first rep and look at his left leg. So stance is wide, and it like pops in before he's even locked out.
Yeah.
It just boop pops in. So you kind of have that pre-flight checklist of what you're doing on the squat. So it's like if I'm going down and I'm thinking, all right, I have a squat to do. Where are my feet at? Where's my midfoot at? If I feel the weight on my toes, I'm not squatting yet. If I feel the weight on my heels, I'm not squatting yet. If my stance is too wide, toes are fucked up, you fix it before you squat. This weight is still light enough for him that he can get away with that, you know. But if we put 365 on the bar, 360, which is probably a true 5 rep max for him, he would not be able to get away with this. Okay. I would probably increase the toe angle. I would pull his heels in a little bit more, but other than that, I think these are fine outside of what Chase mentioned. So they're decent. Aaron Davis. Oh, full Dr. Jordan Peterson returns interview. That's nice.
Oh,
Good
hell yeah.
recommendations. Oh God.
3.5 hours. Well, you should get married.
I'm totally on board. I'm getting married maybe a second and third time to compensate.
Yeah.
I just
Did you
love
clean
it.
your room this morning? Did you make your bed? That's
I
the
love it
first
so
rule.
much.
Yes.
Dude, I cleaned so much of my house today. I had such a good time, productive time.
Yes.
It was such a good
Oh, you
day.
cleaned house too? I did too.
Yeah,
It does
Sunday's
feel good
always
to clean your house.
it's always a good. It's a very high cleaning, high productivity day. Sunday is for me.
Go to church, clean your guns, clean your house. That's.
I need to start going to church just to. I need just to have that feeling of superiority. I need to start being able to say, like, yeah, I went to church today too. Yeah.
You know what's even more superior is inviting someone who doesn't go to church to come over for church to have a Thanksgiving dinner.
Is that happening to you, Chase?
That just happened to me earlier today. Yeah, I was like, hey, our church is coming. It's just one of our. I had to help a member move a fridge. So
did you just move it by yourself?
No. I just kind of like helped them guide it around and shit like that. But they're just like, hey, you should come over to church tonight. We're having like a free Thanksgiving dinner. I'm like, yeah, cool. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
So I don't mind the whole dinner thing, even the religious stuff. It's the holding hands to say a prayer. Like, I'm not cool with that. Like, I think I'd want that.
A lot of times when you say grace, you can just
I feel like where Chase is going, they're going to be holding hands.
Yeah, I mean, I've held hands saying some prayers.
Chase, what if it was like a cool Southern Baptist snake church, and then they were speaking in tongues and
that I would probably go to that.
You never know.
You might need to leave Phoebe at home for that one though.
Why?
They got a bit of a thing there, don't they? The Southern Baptist churches.
Those are mostly. Those are mostly. Yeah. All right. Well, Chase, you should definitely go.
It's already late.
It's free dinner. Oh, you missed it already? It's tonight?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh man, you got to ask them to host another one and say you're really going to come this time.
All right.
Be like, tell them.
I'd have to talk to the church because it's like a big function, I guess.
Email them and request to host another one, and then don't show up again.
Yeah.
Yes, that's.
I feel like what the real disadvantage of being so strong, Chase, is that people ask you to move shit for them all the time. Does that happen a lot?
No.
I mean, enough though to make it, annoying.
Dude, it doesn't bother me because it's like, oh, you have to move like these 3 boxes. Yeah, I can just do this all at once. And then there's like, oh wow.
So you get enjoyment out of.
What a strong young man.
Yeah.
God. All right, so we gotta finish the Australia planning here, guys.
Okay.
So here are my demands. The gym has to have enough chairs that people can sit at. So we're probably looking at 12 to 15 chairs at least. We need a place for a whiteboard or for some PowerPoint to be put up.
Yeah.
So like if they have a TV in there, to put up a PowerPoint on the TV. How many platforms do you think? 3 platforms or 4, Chase?
So how many people are we going to have?
Well, let's say if we do 13 or 14.
I'd like to do 14 because that's an even number, but
if you have a third coach, can you do more?
Yeah. So I think what my point is, it's like if a normal camp being 12, just assume because it's so inconvenient to get there, they'll let us do 1 or 2 more people.
Yeah. I mean,
how many platforms do you think?
3 or 4, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think 3 or 4.
Or even just go to like a CrossFit gym. I mean, we're not going to do a bench, so I wouldn't be worried about benches or anything like that. See if they can't just bring in some metal chairs or some shit like that, and then I feel like they'll have enough area to have several people squatting in. So
yeah, if you could have, and then ideally, like even if it's one of those big kind of combo racks where it's just like it's just a big basically kind of playground monkey bar setup. If it's fine if you can deadlift on the floor, if you can deadlift wherever, if you can power clean wherever, that's good if it's a CrossFit gym. And then just kind of rent it out for the weekend. See what kind of cut the gym person wants. I would say the smaller the gym, almost the better, frankly. Because if you have other shit going on at the same time, that's probably going to be a little bit annoying, Because like if you have, say, if you get half the gym and then the other half people are, doing a WOD, that'll probably be a little bit silly.
Annoying. Also, Mick, what is a Leamingtons? What
is this?
Is this like some Australian
sponge? Shit? It's a
Aboriginal
sponge.
drug.
Yeah, no, it's a black sponge. I think it's with coconut on the outside and jam on the inside.
Leamingtons. That sounds delicious.
Yeah, no,
so it's an actual sponge.
It's like it's not a full cake. They only come in small.
Oh, it's like a little square cake. That looks. It's an Australian cake, square cake, coated in chocolate and rolled in desiccated coconut. That seems wonderful.
Jam in the middle as well.
Jam and cream.
Damn, dude, we need some of them.
Ooh, that does sound good. Yeah, we're gonna take in all the delicacies of Australia. That's the plan. Just go around.
I want some motherfucking Vegemite. Yeah, I want some Vegemite. Some of this Leamington
probably sucks. Yeah,
it probably will.
Probably sucks. We're just going to McDonald's probably all the time. Do you guys have Whataburger here? But yeah, I think. Anything else, Chase? Really, that's all that's needed. I think.
Dude, that's really is. And then, I mean, I think we would have enough interest. Are we just going to do it in one area, Mick, or are we going to do like?
Well, it depends on you guys how long you can come out for. Really, we'll definitely do it one in Brisbane, and then if you guys
where are you? Is that where you live, Mick?
That's where I live.
Okay, is that a big city or is that like 4 people? I refuse to learn anything about Australia.
That's like 1 million people, right?
It's about 1 million people, yeah.
Yeah.
It's big enough.
Brisbane.
Oh, fuck. That's right by the Great Barrier Reef. Can we go?
Brisbane.
Can we go?
It's not by the Great Barrier Reef. It's
not?
Great Barrier Reef is about 2,000 kilometers north.
Okay, it's closer than Oklahoma is. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
You can definitely go pick up some koalas, though.
Oh, sweet.
Koalas?
But they all have chlamydia.
You gotta have one of them.
About you.
Yeah, has anyone ever eaten them? Are they poisonous? Or are they toxic? Excuse me, because they'd be eating them, so they'd be toxic.
I don't know. I don't think anyone's ever really eaten them. Well, I'm sure someone has, but that's not popular. I don't know if it's a chlamydia thing or just they're just too easy.
They actually have chlamydia?
Probably.
A great deal of them do.
What the fuck?
I'm not even joking. It's not even a joke. It's actually a true fact.
I refuse to learn anything about Australia the whole time. So whatever you say goes, Mix. Whatever you say goes.
We can go visit Bumbledum or whatever that place is you wanted to go.
We could? Yeah.
Yeah, where they make the ginger beer.
All right, so we got Brisbane. So this is a pretty big urban center. How many gyms do you think are your prospective candidates for this, Mick?
I reckon I got about 3 or 4.
You got 3 or 4. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
Can we go to Sydney? Is Sydney too far away?
Everything's far away in Australia. I mean, it's an hour and a half flight from Brisbane. So
flight,
or you can drive for 12 hours.
Oh, okay,
cool. The drive's actually pretty good because it's all the way down the coastline. But I mean, yeah.
Oh man! All right, looking at the map of Australia. Okay, so Brisbane seems to be.
It's literally the closest major city you can fly to from America.
Okay, all right, and then Sydney's below that. Canberra's below that. Melbourne's below that.
Not going to Melbourne. Melbourne can suck a dick.
What about Noosa Head? Or we're close to Noosa Head.
Noosa Head.
Is that good to go to?
I mean, for a holiday.
What's in there? What is it? Is it just like a vacation town?
Beach and hippies, basically.
Okay, if we do this, I'll have to come in as shredded as possible. I'm going to be 135 pounds, just emaciated.
On too, yeah.
Yeah, Chase, you're going to die. You have one day in the Australian sun, you will die.
Hey, can I wear this hat there, or will I get like shot or some shit? Hold on.
Which hat are you talking about? Is it the SS training hat?
The white hood?
My Dundee hat?
No one's going to mess with you, Chase, to be honed.
So I got one of those hats at Disneyland. I'll wear one of those hats too, Chase. I have one. It has a Mickey Mouse on the front of it.
You should.
Yeah, we'll wear all of our Australian clothes. Yeah, Mick, this seems like a good idea. Chase, how long can you take time away from a gym?
If it's to make money, I can say like at least a week or so.
Okay, all right, that's the timeline we're looking at, Mick.
All right, I can definitely do a week, and then we can. Fuck man, we can just do a shit ton of camps and stuff throughout that week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people want to do.
Well, you have to deal with the jet lag as well when you get here, though. So
that's fake. I think jet lag. Yeah. It's fake news. It's fucking fake news.
I've heard of jet lag and or from what Rip's standpoint is, and he's just like, yeah, that's a mythical thing.
He also didn't believe the water went down the drain the opposite way.
Is that true?
Yeah, no, I had a big
In the Southern
conversation with him
Hemisphere?
about it, and he reckons it's to do with the way the basins tilt rather than the actual rotation of the Earth. So,
dude, I can't wait to find that out.
So here's one thing: my water never goes down a drain in a spiral because I don't have some sort of old-timey cauldron. It's just.
What are you getting your water out of a well or something? What are you?
No, it just goes. It just pulls down. I don't have any.
Well, what happens when
spiral?
Don't you use like a little plug or something to let the water go up?
Are you talking about in a bath, like when I'm taking an
old-timey,
so I'm sitting down in the water?
Toilet, you have a large
in the toilet?
pot of water, then you drain it, and then it spirals.
You got this. There's something morally wrong about adult men taking baths.
Dude, I love baths.
I'm not taking one.
Just sitting in a pool of your own water. Just all right.
I'm with you on that one, Alex. But I mean, we need to do if we're doing an experiment at bathtubs.
I'll go and check. But again, I refuse to learn anything about Australia.
You have to take a bath in Australia.
But I do think jet lag is fake news. When I went to Japan, I had no jet lag at all. I've traveled so fucking much. You just wake up on time, then you're tired for a day. Get over it. What's wrong with you? You know what I mean?
No, I'm just saying, like,
it's
crazy. You need a day or two to acclimatize or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, jet lag is continued fake news. MJ, I think we'll hop on that next week. You gotta have the rubber.
Yeah, I'll figure out. It'll be next week.
What rotation my water does going down the drain. Chase, is it literally the earlier the better for you, Chase, right?
Yeah, it would, because we'll have our second location up and running probably around January or late January, I'm going to say. And at that point, we're not going to have that many people at the start. So, of course, the longer that we're open, we're going to have jam-packed. And it's just 3 of us handling 2 gyms. So it's going to be pretty fucking hectic for a while. So I'd rather get all the traveling and stuff like that out of the way until we can get another coach coming in, and we can find another apprentice or something.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so I guess early March then is what we're putting a ticket in. How to kick a footy. I refuse to play any sports with balls involved.
We can actually go and watch. I think we can actually go watch an Australian rules game if it's on that weekend.
Footy. The only sports that I play are one where men are touching men in combat. That's it.
Well, you'll love Australian football then. You'll love Australian football then, because that's all they do. They kick the ball.
What is the most offensive thing that I can say to an Australian?
Yeah. What's the easiest way to get dunked on for hate speech in Australia?
Yes.
Please say it this on a recording.
How I can get banned from this country.
Probably anything to do about Aboriginals, I think, is
okay.
Yeah.
And the police just dunk, they put a big butterfly net over you and take you to jail.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Just immediately just dunk.
All right, so we wrap it up?
We'll cap it off here. See everybody. Please send in videos. MJ, we'll get to your video. We'll get to your video next week. Pinky promise. All right, see you guys.